Hello and welcome to Pocket Gamer's YouTube channel. I'm John Jordan, and the game we're looking at today is Midnight Star Mercenaries. So this is a game that's currently in soft launch. It's not released yet generally. It's available in a few different countries around the world while the developer is testing it. But it's an interesting game, and I think it's worth kind of showing some game footage of the game and explaining a little bit about what's going on with it. So this is the user interface may change when it comes out. I think this looks like pretty much the finished thing. It's a first-person shooter game, so let's go in and do. Obviously, this is very early on, so you can see this is mission 1 training. Not very difficult, and I've played a few more levels than this, so it'll make it a bit easier. But it's will be easier to explain what's going on. So I'll go in here. So this is me. My character, this is my loadout. So first person shooter loadout's very important. So we have a rifle and we have a pistol, do slightly different things. There's an elemental part to it, there's grenades. So we can see level objectives, enemy power level. I'm much more powerful than the enemy in this case because I've played higher and I'm going back to an easier level to explain what's going on. This is me in the left right hand corner. So okay, so let's go in and look at how it works. So it's a first person game, as we say. These are the chaps I'm shooting, so I'm pinching out to zoom. I'm getting hit there, so my shield showing. So I'm currently using the rifle and I'm pinching in. So you can see these arrows here, so these are arrows I can use to kind of turn around. So it's kind of it's not on rails, as we'll show in a minute, but it's not a dual stick shooter. So to move, I'm going to just pull up on the screen and get it to go. So I'm going to do that and then move up. So I'm basically moving to fix node points that are already in the area, so I can't just move around wherever I want to. So there's an enemy there in a different level up here. So to move up there, I just do what they call a fast swipe. Hard to see because you can't see what my fingers are doing. And then I'm pinching out to locate new enemies, and basically pinching out, opposite of pinching in. Look at these little guys running around. I'm pinching out just to find them. So that guy's in a different level. So I'm going to have to go back down here. You can see there's like a little icon there. So there we go. He was the last one I needed to get. So it's a first-person game in a sense. It's a first-person perspective game. You don't have dual sticks or anything like that because it's hard to do first-person games on a touchscreen. We all know this. There's been lots of different attempts, and you have to innovate the control scheme. So the game this reminds me of the most is a game called The Drowning, which again was a first-person game with a very innovative control scheme. I really liked it. Not many other people did. That had a kind of like a touch, almost like a point and clicks thing where you touched where you touched where you wanted to move to, and it moved, and then you had kind of control of the camera really. So obviously in first-person games you have a camera control and a gun control, and the in a PC game we have the keyboard and mouse, which is obviously the kind of classic purist kind of view of a first-person shooter game. That's the best way because you have this control. Obviously on console there's been very good shooters. There's been Halo and GoldenEye, Call of Duty, obviously you know, quite a lot of them. In touchscreen it's harder to do well. So this is kind of an interesting, I guess, what we call a hybrid control scheme. So you don't have direct control. The movement, as I've tried to explain, probably not that easy to see, easy to understand when you're playing the game, is there's nodes in the level that you're moving to, and the camera control is really your pinching out. So your fingers are kind of together and then you pinching out, and then that's basically moving the camera towards the nearest enemy that you shoot. So it's not really what maybe a first-person shooter is not really the best way of describing it really. So it's a kind of a different kind of hybridized kind of version really of the in terms of the gameplay. So we'll go back to the main menu here, because obviously this being a free-to-play mobile game, there's the gameplay, which we saw a little bit of, and then there's the meta game, which is equally important and potentially more important for people who are going to be playing this game for weeks and months and maybe even years. So you can see here there's lots of kind of numbers. So metagame numbers are big. So if you go into customize, this is kind of so there's a few little stats here you can see on the screen. So kills, headshots, time in the air, no time in the air, points. There's a crafting thing here. I've not really got to much crafting yet. It's quite early in the levels. So there's the guns I showed before, and if you go into the guns, what you do is you get different bits of the guns. So you can see here there's a magazine and a receiver and a sight and a barrel and a, I don't know what an X is, what's that, extension, and a grip. So we can see here the other thing that we see in a lot of games now is these parts are rated in terms of their rarity. So this is an uncommon pistol grip, and what I'm currently using is a legendary pistol grip of type fire. So as I said before, there's the elemental part of this game as well. So this is, the pistol is built up of different parts, and you upgrade the parts, and that's what gives you makes the pistol more powerful. So how do we get this? How do we kind of level these things up? So we can see here on the top right of the screen there's a store, and there's some kind of UI kind of counters. So I've got 6,742 things, whatever they are, credits or something like that. So we can see there's a daily drop thing, so that's very common now in free-to-play games, that every day you log in, if you come back every day you get some rewards. So here's a crate, so we can see here it costs 2,500 whatever credits or whatever they are. I get one crate and get five items, so I can buy one of those. We'll do that in a minute. Equally there's the starter pack, so I could spend money, so that's £8, so probably equivalent to $12, something like that, and I get, instead of one crate, which is what I'm going to open, I'd get 10 crates and an epic receiver. So receivers are particularly important in this game, because receivers are the part of the weapon that gives it the kind of biggest part of the weapon in terms of the power. So you care more about receivers than anything else. So I'm going to get this. I'm going to get one crate for free. I could actually buy 2 crates with the currency that I've kind of earned in the game. So let's go into that. Let's go and purchase a crate. So what does that mean? You see my total's gone down, and you can see here on the top right that now there's the crate counter has 1. Let's open the crate. So this is what we see. You're going to tap to open it. I'm going to get a rifle magazine. That's rare, but not particularly powerful, I don't think. Rifle receiver, that's common. That's not so good. I'm going to get some grenades. They look pretty good. Rare grenades. You can see there's some more grenades, not so good, and some chest armor, again not terribly useful. So let's go back in and see. So I've got those 5 items. So it's what the system is called. This is kind of a random system. You spend some currency, and you kind of get a random selection of stuff. In the in industry terms, that's called a gacha system. It comes from Japan, where this kind of like a randomized reward system was kind of invented. It's quite powerful because you're spending some currency, maybe in-game currency or real money. You don't know exactly what you're going to get, but you are guaranteed a certain amount of rare items. They may not be the ones you want. I mean, the comparison is kind of with, if you've ever played like a Magic the Gathering type game, or kind of like a sticker game where you're collecting stickers and you buy packs of stickers. You don't really know what you're going to get, and you rarely get the ones you want, and when you do get the ones you want, you're super happy. So let's go into, so we can see here rifle has an exclamation mark against it, so we can see here the magazine. So I've got 3 different magazines. The one I got was this rare rifle magazine, which has a big 11, so it's power 11. So let's equip that one, so we can see now that's okay. The other thing I got was grenades, so we can see the special ones highlighted. So I was using a 43 power grenade. Now I'm going to increase that significantly 3 times. So I'm going to use the rare barrier grenade. It's a cluster grenade, so I can equip that. Obviously we kind of also can see there, so if I look at the weakest grenade I have, I can scrap that and gain some currency. I can scrap this other one and gain some currency. So there's a the other important thing about this gacha system is anything you get is never wasted. It's all useful. You can kind of scrap it. So I can go back in, as I said before, can go and buy another of these crates. So I've got another one. Let's open it again. Same thing. I'm going to have 5 things. So that grenade, that's pretty good as well, but not as good as the one I had before. That's the same one I had before. Pistol grip, that's not very good. That's common. No, that's not very good. So that was not so useful, I don't think. Let's go in, see what selling map can customize. It's probably saying again. So I've got a lot of grenades now. So I don't really need that one. Maybe I'll scrap that one. Okay. So we can see that wasn't such a good chest to unlock, but I got something out of it. So let's go and have a look in. So this is a mission I've not played, so I will probably not do so well. Oh, what's that saying? Okay, so I've got a briefing here. Okay, so this is a bit of narrative. Yada yada yada. Okay. Let's try mission Sapient. So we can see the enemy power level is 30. So hopefully I should be okay against these guys. We can see there's objectives: kill all the enemy, earn 5,000 points, collect 2 archives. So there's some of these positions in the game that I can move to have collectibles on them, archives in this case. So let's go in and see how we get on here. I think with this kind of game, because it's not a free roaming game, you can't move wherever you want to. You're kind of moving into points. So that's an archive there we can see. So let's get rid of these. Ooh, get rid of these guys. Goodness me, very close to me. Really kind of wants me to melee weapon, I think. And we can kind of see there's some highlights on the hub that kind of show where baddies are. So I need to move there to collect that archive. I can kind of where's the next one? So I can change weapon. I think it's kind of you need to get to know the levels a little bit to know kind of how to move around them and where the enemies are going to spawn. Obviously there's a PvP element as well, so I'm just doing the single player mission at the moment. You can kind of see it's going to be there's like a replayability to this kind of game that will be nice to play over and over again and get it exactly right, which is so you can kind of see here. I'm going to know where these guys are going to spawn. I'm going to move here, do that. So there's like a tactical element which sometimes in kind of free form first person shooter games you don't have. Oh there's one there. Okay, it's a mission complete. So I didn't really know what I was doing in that level. I didn't know what the level was like. I didn't know where people were there. Got a free item though. Rifle stock, rubbish. So what did I do? I killed all the enemies, didn't earn the points, I only collect one of the archives. But I got some rewards, I got a score. So let's go back to the main menu. Is there anything for me to collect? No, not really. I've not got enough to to open another chest. Next mission I do, I will do that. So you can kind of see how this kind of metagame stuff is working and how the gameplay stuff's working. I guess the other thing to say about Midnight Star is now, this is the second game in the series. So Midnight Star, the original game, was a game that was pretty highly anticipated. So the guys behind it are a US developer called Industrial Toys. They've got pretty good heritage. So some of the guys who were involved in that were involved in founding Bungie. So Halo is a massive now game franchise. And back, Bungie did other kind of more strategy stuff before Halo came along. People sometimes forget, and a lot of the other people in the company, Industrial Toys, came from the comic book scene and a kind of real kind of a melting pot of entertainment talent. And Midnight Star was their first mobile game, and it was an ambitious game. They spent quite a lot of time developing it. And it came out and probably wasn't as mobile honed as it could have been. I guess it's very interesting talking to people who've been very successful in the console space and they come into mobile and always slightly under or over anticipate kind of how easy it is. Just very different, mobile games to console games. The same people kind of playing them to a degree, but with mobile what you tend to find is session times are very short and frequency is very high, and you have to focus, as I've described before, a lot more on the metagame than the gameplay. Console games, metagame doesn't really matter so much. Gameplay, super important. Quite long sessions, low frequency of sessions. So I think the Industrial Toys guys learnt a lot from Midnight Star, which was an interesting game. I think it was quite a good game, but didn't quite find its audience, I think, in the way they wanted. So this is definitely a sequel built on some hard kind of feedback, some hard learnings from the original game. I think it's almost like the opposite of the music industry, where the music industry you have a big hit and it's like the difficult second album. I think for a lot of mobile developers it's the easy second mobile game, because they've learned so much from the difficult first mobile game. So the guys at Industrial Toys are building on the legacy of having a game which didn't quite do what they thought and probably took slightly too long to develop, and this time around they've been quicker on development and spending a lot more time on the meta game as a service. So we can see here also, so there's all this, I mean it's like, so you can see these zones here, there's 15 zones, so I'm not even, where am I? Yeah, not even really started very much in zone 2, and that's the campaign. So there's a multiplayer thing as well. We can obviously see in the store, if we go to the high end, I can spend $50 here and get 50 crates, and that would actually be 327 total items. So I'd be pressing all those things. Out of that I would get 2 legendary items. So we can see how the rarity value is kind of feeding in this kind of, like as I was saying before, this kind of randomized gacha thing. I don't know what the actually it's kind of interesting. There's some things I don't know. I don't know quite what the when you go into the store, I've got these bolts on the top right. I'm not entirely sure what they're for, to be honest. I think they're for the crafting. So I'm not going into any crafting. I don't really know. So it's when I salvage something, I get these bolts. I don't really know what bolts are used for. That's something else in the game. So there's some other system. Let's go in here. Okay, so I can make something with those. So I've used some of those bolts and I've gained something to open, and I've got some gloves. Oh, okay. So there we go. I learned something live on screen. So now I can go into the armor, and my gloves are going to improve by a lot. Okay, so that's good. They've gone up 4-fold, so I can equip those. And I can get rid of the common gloves, get some more bolts, so we can see how the bolt, start to get an idea how the bolt system works now. I'm salvaging stuff, it's feeding in, I get better stuff from it. So there we go. So as I say, this is Midnight Star Mercenaries, in soft launch at the moment, so things still might change. I imagine it's coming out fairly soon, so definitely one to look at. I think for a lot of people the way that gameplay is dealt with will be a little bit of an obstacle, because people still expect either an on-rails shooter or a free roaming shooter. This is a hybrid version of the two, so there's a little bit of learning there. I don't think that's a bad thing. I think touchscreen shooters have to be a bit different. So, but we'll keep an eye on it. Obviously, we'll keep playing the soft launch version, and obviously we'll when the actual game comes out and is completed in terms of being launched. Obviously, it changes after launch as well. These things are now called games as a service, so everything's always in flux. But definitely one worth looking out for, I would say. And thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. So we play a lot of free-to-play mobile games. Some of them are out, some of them aren't out. So if you subscribe, you'll find some hopefully you won't have heard of before, and that's a good thing. And hopefully you'll find some that you will enjoy to play as well, and that will be even better. So thanks for watching, and hope to see you again.